Well, I guess it started nearly like a bet when I crewed for Lisa in the Himalayas on a race called Ultra the High. It was a 222-kilometre run through the Himalayas, and I was there as a journalist covering Lisa and writing up her story basically. And while we were on that, we had discussions about this idea of us potentially unearthing A, the various stories of endurance feats throughout history, and B, her turning me into an ultra runner as such, or showing what was possible.
Chris didn't really think that this is possible for your average person. I said, yeah, it is. Look at history, and we've always done it. And so the upshot of that basically was that we had a bet that I could show him how to be an ultra marathon runner. Suddenly becomes real to you, you know. You can train for years and you get to your Olympics, this is the equivalent of our Olympics, and you're just having an off day. And that off day when you're trying to run, well, it's getting pretty close to a 100-miler now, what we're trying to do, is not a good thing. Like you say, this is your first time, but it doesn't really matter if it's your first or your 100th. It can all go to custard.
Yeah. And I guess that's why it's such an adventure, is because, again, it doesn't matter how much training anyone does. It's not will we go through pain, it's not will we cry, it's when are we going to cry.
Yeah.
I like everything going. Oh my God.
We might be here on a big adventure, but we're honouring and respecting something that was very, very real and very, very much about life and death. This was sent on the 18th of September 1922. This is a copy of the actual Telegraph, and this one says, Strello, dangerously ill, complete breakdown of health, your presence urgently requested, come at once, absolutely imperative, Heinrich Hattner. So we'll carry that on our journey and we'll hand it over at the telegraph station.
Can we ring the bell?
All right.
Okay, we're out of here.
I remember when I was that young, and older people would talk about Hezekiel, you mention his name, people would sort of like bow their head and respect just his name. It's powerful.
Was that 1 kilometre down?
Be about right.
1 kilometre down, 149 to go. That's scary.
Karl Strello was a missionary who came from Germany, a Lutheran missionary, and he came to take over the Hermannsburg mission out at Indaria in 1894.
Strello actually saved Hezekiel's life because he was hunted down. He was going to be shot by some of the pastoralists. Karl Strello stepped in and actually saved his life. Hezekiel is my mother's grandfather. He was the most highest tribal, traditional man in Central Australia.
Like to think he's here with us. Who knows? But even the thought of him, drawing the spirit that he had, might get me an extra 5K.
Karl Strello became very sick with dropsy or pleurisy in 1922, and when it became clear that he wasn't going to survive without medical help, it was decided that they would somehow get a telegram from the telegraph station at Alice Springs, which was approximately 130 kilometres away, to the telegraph station in Adelaide. That was the reason they asked Hezekiel to take the message by foot.
There's one side of adventure, which is what you're seeing all around us, which we appreciate and love, and this is part of why I know I get into the outdoors. But I kind of like the other side of that adventure, which is all in the mind and going through geographies in your mind that you've never been to before.
Hezekiel left the Hermannsburg station, and in 1.5 days he covered approximately 130 kilometres to the telegraph station at Alice Springs, rested up briefly at the telegraph station, and then in 1 day's time he ran back to the Hermannsburg mission.
No, so we're looking at a bloke who may or may not have run in shoes, ran off no training, and then we know on the way back he had 2 water stops. So we've got a crew who are following us, we've got electrolytes, we've got power bars and all this fancy food. We're going to have people cooking us noodles, we've got shoes, we've got everything. We've got people passing us ice, and we're still going to go through possibly the hardest thing that I know I've ever done, and yet Hezekiel turned around and just did it.
maybe when you're fresh, you think you hurt this much at 100k, but we're only just not that far past 50, and I'm hurting like I thought I'd hurt at 100. And the heat, it's just, I've got no idea how hot it is, but it feels bloody hot.
1922, there wasn't a lot of vehicles around, so it was horse and cart or camel and cart, and they would have been just 2 wheel marks and maybe the pad of animals that are walking along towing these wagons. It's still a great big open place.
Harsh country.
If anything goes wrong, you know, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's right.
We've just basically lost the trail. We saw Ken, a farmer, a fair way back, and he sort of gave us a mud map of where we were to go, and it sounded fairly simple. Dam on left, road goes through, and but we've hit a dam, so that's fine. But the road all around the dam's just disappeared, and we can't figure out where it is. Nothing.
No tracks.
The problem is that stopping like this is not a good thing at all in terms of us just getting on. It's more time in the sun, and it's just time. It's just time. Basically, we need to get finished as quickly as possible. The longer we're out here, the more dangerous it is, the harder it is. So all this sort of stuff is not very good.
All right, okay, I'm making a call. We're going to go back until we find that road. We're going to head out to the road and we're just going to carry on. All right? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, starting is hard.
On the foot.
Yeah, it's hotter. The black is reflecting sort of the radiated heat's more.
Everything's sore, everything's stiff. And yeah, stopping sounds like a good idea, and then you've got to start again, and it's not good.
No.
Can we as you know, modern day people go out and do these amazing things? We know for sure that we can't do it as easy as these people did it. But we can try and emulate it. And then, as is in the case with Hezekiel Malbunka, we're showing that we might be able to do a bit of it, but he did it a whole lot harder, a whole lot better. So we might be able to do some pretty interesting things. Hopefully, fingers crossed that I'll actually make it. I mean,
Yeah, well, for both of us.
I was happy running back there for a bit, and then just a wave of nausea came over me.
Yeah, you can go down with heat stroke pretty fast. And then you feel really crook, which is not nice. 2 of these for each of us, 2 tablets each, every 4 hours. Without potassium, and I've experienced this firsthand, you can have what they call a tetany seizure, which is when all the muscles in your body start to cramp up, including your heart. In other words, you're going to have a heart attack. This is what
a lot of the things we're going to go through are going to be painful, and our mind's going to go for a while or whatever, but they're not necessarily reasons to pull. That's part of the, supposedly I'm told, part of the ultra experience.
Yeah. It's between the heat and just the pain of below the hips and my stomach. It's just doing backflips, and the nausea waves just keep coming over, so we've just been doing a fair bit of walking. I can't do anything else. Oh shit. It's just everything's numb. Hands are numb, arms are numb.
Yeah, you're going to have a rest now. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, as much comfort.
That's good. No, it's just slight aberration of normality. I can't. Leg! Fuck! Fuck! Get! Push my foot back! This ain't good.
No, we're going to get you in a hospital, okay, baby?
Okay. Don't leave my feet. Do not leave my feet. Fuck.
I want it out now because I want to get into hospital straight away. Okay, lift him. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Legs, everything's going.
Get the shit in the car and drive like hell. You know, but I haven't got my mate out here with me. It's sad, but you know, we're doing our best to honour Hezekiel's run and his feat of endurance, and we were very lucky not to lose Chris. And that's all that mattered at the moment. The tetany seizure is not to be played with, and I'm glad we made the calls when we did.
How you doing, bud?
Hey, hey
Good?
mate, I'm good.
Still a little bit hot for 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You gotta run the rest of the way with this. The telegram that I've been carrying.
Is this the official Passover?
This is the official Passover, given that my little episode.
Yeah, it was quite a nice little moment. It was handed over because he'd been carrying it, now I was carrying it. It was sort of to make sure that we actually finished the job that we set out to do. A little way into it, we were joined by Charlie Mayer, who's a local celebrity, the guy who went to the New York Marathon and the Boston Marathon, part of the Indigenous Marathon Project, and he's just such a likeable chap.
Hey, Liz.
Hey mate, how are you? It was a nice surprise. It really picked up my energies, and we were chatting away to each other, and Chris actually came out and started running again, and you know, forgotten that he'd nearly died the day before and pretty much was out there for the rest of the day with us.
I still can't understand how he did it, you know, and you know how much I heard out there. I ended up in hospital. We had all the support we could ever want. Yet he had no support. He was by himself. He had no horses. On the way back, he had 2 drinks of water. I had God knows how many litres of water, and I still ended up in hospital.
We knew that we were going to be received by the Mayor of Alice Springs, who was the highest government representative here. And so it was a bit of an emotional moment for me, partly because, of course, we'd just finished 140 odd kilometres, and then to actually see the building and know that is it, that's the end of the deal, and I can rest after this, so pretty good. Oh, there he is.
Charlie, good to see you.
We would like to give you the Telegraph, or a copy of the official Telegraph that was sent by Hezekiel Malbunka back in 1922 to try to get help for Carl Strello. And we'd like to honour Hezekiel and his efforts for doing this, and I'm not running back though.
Various things went wrong, some things went right, and I guess that's all part of the adventure in terms of, you know, what we're out to achieve. It's an expedition, and we don't know what's going to happen. So, and that's kind of what, and this panned out well. 1 trip to the hospital, but Lisa still made the distance. We still delivered the message that Hezekiel would have delivered. So overall, sort of a good first run the planet escapade.